Hello everyone, welcome back to Zero Escape.
私の方も解けました。っていうか解いてくれたのはチンペイくんですけど、
We will
私はただ
see.
それをなぞっただけで、あとはエンターキーを押すだけです。
Okay. You were going on a little bit longer than I thought you were going to, Akane. Yeah, last time we solved this puzzle that I struggled with a little bit. And, yeah. Let's see what happens now. Did we successfully escape? I'm guessing you successfully escaped in the past, and then there was a bunch of stuff about, yeah. I just have to press enter. Okay.
何をしてる？だったらさっさと押すんだ。
Honestly, which one of these is enter, you know? Usually enter's like a big long boy. Like spacebar. I don't even know where spacebar is on this.
はい、わかりました。
Hit the enter key. I guess it's more like a typewriter. That's what it looks like. That's how the buttons even look.
Emergency shutdown command has been confirmed. Incineration system has been shut down.
Okay, so I wonder how this is going to play out for Akane then. Is Ace actually going to do like he said and just be like, alright, you're free to go? Or, like, what's gonna happen? Alright.
チンペイくん、成功です。止まりました。自動焼却システムが停止したんです。
Tears rolled down my face as I cried out to him, but they were a very different sort of tears. A wonderful feeling of accomplishment and relief flooded my body. At the same time, what strength I'd had left disappeared, and I collapsed to the floor. For a while I just lay there, laughing and crying and enjoying being alive. Every time I thought about him, I thought my heart would burst. Well, this would certainly explain why you were so into me earlier. If I'm straight up the one responsible for saving your life. Can't quite believe I did that. I'm so glad. So glad. I feel like my heart's on fire. No, I don't have time to be thinking about that kind of shit. I need to tell Akane.
あかね、すまん。ちょっとこっちの方が立て込んでてな。一度アクセスを中断させてくれ。
Hang up?
はい、わかりました。
I wiped the tears from my eyes and nodded vigorously, even though I knew he couldn't see me. Then I looked over at the corner of the floor. There were 2 bracelets Hongo had left behind. Well, Seven and Lotus don't look particularly happy with me. Not a very nice look to give someone who just saved your lives, guys.
俊平、お前。
大丈夫？
うるせえな。
Right. Okay, so maybe they have a reason to be pissed off. So what if I hadn't pressed the enter... So what if I haven't pressed the enter key yet? Alright, nothing holding me back now. Here goes. Wait.
Incineration will start in
Uh-oh.
90 seconds.
Oh shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ours is different from the one that Akane has?
どうやら止まらないようだね。
なんでだよ。なんで止まらないんだ。
Okay, maybe I didn't hit the key hard enough. Just hit it again. And again. Yeah, you're gonna crash it. Don't do that. Okay, that's not working either. The alarm's still going off. What the hell is going on? Got all the right numbers in the right boxes. It's perfect. So why the fuck isn't this thing stopping?
Incineration will start in 60 seconds.
Oh shit. Wait, of course. That's what the numbers that showed up after the puzzle mean. Oh. I see. Are we gonna get the digital root of this and then press that key? So 6, 11, 18, and then that would be 26, and then 6 plus 2, 8. So we gotta press 8? So then Clover, Me, 7, and Lotus. Then door 9. No, that's it. The number on the door isn't a 9. It's not even a number.
脱出するための出口は船内のどこかに隠されている。
Oh my god. I see what they're talking about. Okay.
探したまえ。Q と書かれた扉がそれだ。
Holy shit. Of course. Then we just have to put the right number into the red and...
Incineration will start in 30 seconds.
急げ！あの扉へ向かうんだ！走れ！
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, don't have much time. Man, I sure hope they can trust me on this one or we are all fucked. Alright, no time to explain, just go.
早くしろ！レッドに認証を！
認証って
誰が？
どの組み合わせで？
全員だよ！ここにいる全員で認証するんだ！
Yeah, because it's a... I think they're going for... It's a Q. I think that's what it is. I think.
どうして？
説明なら後でしてやる！だから早く！
Actually, I don't think that makes sense based off of... Because Q would be like way further down than what our numbers add up to, I think. Because yeah, 26? That could be Q. URS, TV, WX, Y, and Z. Yeah. I don't want to sit here and do the math right now, but I think that works. Possibly. Hurry.
Incineration will start in 10 seconds.
Oh, fuck. We have 10 seconds to do it?
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh.
Central gate has been opened.
Holy shit, get out of here. It's not even stopping the incineration.
Incineration system
Oh, okay.
has been shut down.
Okay, good. It was a Q all along. God. Oh, thank fucking Christ. I know, right? I know, right? No time to be happy. Time to go.
急げ！早くしないと扉が閉まっちまうぞ！さあ、早く！
Come on, guys, move it. Okay, they're all through. Move it, Junpei. Just in time. Alright, now just don't blow up. And there goes the door. No, don't calm down yet. You're not done. We still gotta find the dead. Oh, wow, that was easy. I agree, 7.
どうにか切り抜けたみてえだな。
Good laugh, 7. Man, that guy sure can laugh when he wants to. Looks like Clover and Lotus are totally out of energy. Snake is shaking his head weirdly. I just want to take a nap, but...
茜！聞こえるか、茜！
I want to tell her we made it. I want to tell her how good I feel. But nothing. Uh-oh. Because we're not in danger anymore? That might be why. The door opened. Standing in front of it was my brother. I cried his name even though my voice was almost gone from screaming. I leapt into his arms. Buried my face in his chest and cried again. I cried and cried and cried. Steady thump of his heart in my ear made me feel like I was home. His beat was almost like a lullaby. I wrapped my arms around him as far as they would go and held him as tight as I could. Just to be there felt like a miracle. I hadn't felt the warmth of another human body in what seemed like an eternity. I just wanted to stay there in his arms forever, but I couldn't. The moment I'd passed through the door, my bracelet had begun to count down to death. I leapt away from him and looked around. The door had already closed. Spotted the dead only a short distance away. It took me only a moment to get to and scan all the bracelets. I left the ones Hongo had dropped on the scanner panel. That was it. Took a deep breath and looked around again. Huge detective, who would recall 7 in 9 years, and Snake, the blind boy, were looking at me. They seemed to have been utterly stunned by my sudden appearance. Their eyes were wide and their mouths hung open. If we don't- oh, oops, sorry. If we don't book it, we might run into Hongo again. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, he was right. It was time to get moving. Mention of Hongo seemed to jar 7 and Snake out of their surprise, and they nodded. We took off running up the spiraling stairs to freedom. Time for more running. But if they can get us out of here, no wonder we're running so hard. My heart's beating so hard I can barely hear. God, I can't wait to breathe real air again. Huh? Seven talking?
なあ順平、一つ聞きたいことがあるんだがいいか。
なんだ。
さっきの9の扉の件についてだ。あれなんで開いたんだ。
そうよね。私たちは5人全員でレッドの2章を行った。2たす4たす5たす7たす8は26。だから数字根は8になるはず。なのにどうして9の扉が開いたのかしら。
意外だなヤシロ。お前ならとっくに気づいてると思ってたんだが。
どうして？
だって進数について教えてくれたのはお前じゃないか。
進数？
そうだ。2進数で使われる数字は何と何だ。
0と1ね。
10進数では
0から9までだろ。
じゃあ16進数だとどうなる。
0から F までになるわ。9の次は A になってさらに B、C、D、
So I was right.
続いていく。
そうだな。つまり16進数の A は10進数の10を表していることになる。B は11、C は12、D は13。
Yeah, we know all this already. The game, just to make sure you get it, the game does over-explain sometimes the solution to some things.
それが一体何だってんだ。
だからこれをずっと先まで続けていったらどうなる。ただし16進数ではなく27進数で考えてほしい。
27進数？
そうだ。
だったら16になっても桁は上がらないから、そのまま順番に一つずつ数を増やしていけばいいってことになるわ。E は14、F は15、G は16。
This is a lot of explanation for something that's very obvious, at least to me right now.
H は17、
K は20、L は21、M は22、
N は23、O は24、B は25。
じゃあその次は
Yeah, and what comes after that? Feels like Dora the Explorer right now.
9は
26
ってことは
あの扉に書かれていたのは数字の9ではなく。
That's rude, Santa.
アルファベットの9だったってことか。
Seven having the most realistic reaction to it. It was a fucking Q.
まあそういうことだ。
Oh, that's great.
別の言い方をすると10進数の9ではなく27進数の9だったとも言えるけどな。
Time for more running. God, my thighs are killing me. I swear, any moment now I'm gonna tear a muscle. Yeah, how many flights are we going up right now? I feel like every single cell of my body is dying for air. And every breath I take is a chore now. I feel like my lungs are gonna burst. Maybe just a short rest. No, can't stop, don't have time. Come on, legs, there can't be many more of these steps left. Let's run, like a bullet down a rifled barrel. Like a tornado cutting through a sea of clouds. Like we're running along the back of a giant coiled dragon. Finally, yeah, we're on Snake Way. I think we'd be fine. I don't think Ace can make it up all those. Those are the scary stairs too that don't have a back, so if like you're running up it and your foot slips under the stair, you like slide out. That's terrifying. Jesus, I can barely breathe. No, Junpei, no time to rest. Pull yourself together, you're almost there.
開くぞ。
いよいよだね。
頼んだよ、順平くん。
Sure, you look like a big heavy door, but you're the only thing standing between me and my freedom. Even more important than that, you're the only thing standing between me and Akane. You're gonna open, and you're gonna open now. Felt a hand on my shoulder. It was Aoi's. He gave it a small, reassuring squeeze. I was so happy I felt like I could melt. My heart was at peace. Not only because my brother and I were back together again, thanks to the huge detective, all 9 of us who had been kidnapped were finally able to escape from the Gigantic. Yeah, 7. When did you put on the fisherman gear? On the distant horizon, we could see the faint outline of the ship as it sank. It gave a thunderous roar as it finally slipped beneath the waves. I'm surprised there's not news on this. You know, there's news on the missing kids, but how did we not know about a giant ocean liner sinking in the middle of the ocean? I mean, I guess... I don't know how easy that would be to track, I suppose. Like, in real life, currently, that feels like a big event, but people would have to know it was out there. If this was just hidden out in the middle of the ocean, there's a chance no one would find it, I suppose? Or not know this is happening? It was only there for a few hours anyway. Its last cry echoed out across the ocean, and then it was gone. It could also be one of those weird remote parts of the ocean that there's no reason for anyone to be surveying or at. Oh, he whispered. Yeah, it was over. It was finally over. Or was it? Was it really? No, that was wrong. That wasn't it at all. I was sure of it. This wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. This was only a prologue to what would happen in 9 years. Yeah. And we know what happened in 9 years now. Back to Junpei? Yes, finally air! Ah! Damn, that sun is bright. I can barely see anything. Huh, gotta admit, this doesn't look quite like... Wait. You've gotta be shitting me.
そんな
まさか
ここは
What is it? Oh! Oh, we're in Nevada? We weren't on the ship at all?
ネバダ砂漠に建造された
Yeah, we weren't on the ship at all this whole time. We were a separate... We were the other group, the transmitter group, I guess, and yeah, they were the receiver. So what was all the shaking caused by? And the water? How was all that done? That's some interesting special effects they were pulling off here. Cuz the ship was being filled with water, or the what we thought was the ship. They just created a complete replica of it under. Neat.
模擬実験棟
キュートだったんだ
I mean, I guess that makes sense if, yeah, they had to create the exact same situation. There would just be a straight-up replica of the ship under here. God, the money that must have taken. Sure enough, that's a desert out there with mountains all around it. Hello there, son. Well, I'm ever glad to see you. I don't think I've ever been so happy to see a sunrise. Huh? Did I just hear something fall? Right, our bracelets. Guess I've never really got a good look at the underside of one of these. Let's see what's inside of you. It's a little electronic chip, like in an ATM card. That's it. There's nothing else. Nothing that even looks like a detonator. There was never a detonator to begin with. Alright. We were never actually in any danger, but they made it seem like we were in danger because the ninth man exploded. There was a detonator in his, but not anybody else's. Santa, this was cruel, but I understand you wanted to do it to get your sister back, but holy shit. Figures.
俊平くん
Guess I must be pretty crazy about the girl if I think I'm hearing her voice in the wind. And here she is, about to show up. Oh, I clicked, nothing happens. Wait, is that it? We do it? Oh god, we really did. We really did do it. I didn't expect to finish today. I didn't know I put off the finale. Oh no. Okay. Okay, that's it. We've solved all of the... What was the deal with Alice still, actually? I was about to say we solved all of the mysteries. What the hell was the deal with Alice? Was it just as a way to explain, like, the phenomenon even more? There had to be more that was going on with Alice that I'm just not getting, right? There must have been. There must have been. I really didn't expect to finish this, though, today, but... Some things I am confused about, I guess, is... Who the hell was that June that was in our world, basically? Because it wasn't actually Akane. So, who? Because everybody else could see her too, so you can't use the it's a figment of Junpei's imagination route. I mean, she said she manifested a version of the future events in her head. Did she, like, somehow manifest a fake version of herself in this world? Like, that is what's confusing to me. That's one of the things. We might have to look up a little bit of explanation on some of these things, unless it gives me more explanation here. But yeah, like, what in the world is the deal with Alice is one thing. But, because we never even found the thing. It said Alice lies, you know, past the Garden of Knowledge or whatever.
大丈夫ですか?
Unless Alice was supposed to be symbolic of, like, the way forward or the solution to our problems, because it said Alice laid there, and then when we opened the coffin, the keys we needed to go forward were in the coffin, which allowed us to escape, and yeah. So yeah, those are my two questions. Alice, and like, how exactly does the manifestation that she talked about work exactly?
何言ってんだよ。このぐらいへっちゃらさ。
本当に?
ああ。
でも全然そんな風には見えないんですけど。
It was just before the end of elementary school. Junpei and I were sitting next to each other on a small hill, looking down at the town as the sun slowly set. Is this when you get the gift? Or is this an updated future timeline of the events in the past? Do you get to go back to school and be with Junpei now?
だったらどんな風に見えるんだよ。
He was half serious and half joking. I thought about it for a minute first. Yeah, I was wondering where this art was in the game because... Whoops. Sorry, I wanted to see the text you were saying. It looks like you kissed a toad and got warts, but then they just kept growing and growing and growing. Yeah, I saw this art in the credits and I was like, what is this from?
なんだよそれ。
Junpei grinned and ow 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 ow.
ほら、やっぱり大丈夫じゃないでしょ。無茶するからですよ。5人の中学生を相手に向かっていくなんて。どうかしてます。
You can't beat 5 8th graders, Junpei. That's crazy.
んなこと言ったってしょうがないだろ。あのまま放っておくわけにはいかなかったし。
Look at the Nevada desert go past. For an SUV, this thing has a pretty smooth ride. Sure was nice of someone to leave it for us outside the building, keys in the ignition and gas in the tank. Almost like it was a present, you know? Anyway, we jumped in and now here we are, screaming across the desert. Lotus is over there in the passenger seat. Snake and Seven and I are all squeezed into the back seat. Snake, Seven, and I are all squeezed into the back seat, so it's Clover's driving? Still can't believe you let her drive. I was like, wait, we let Clover drive?
こんな何もないところを突っ走ることができるなんて、もう最高!
You can still flip it.
おい、四つ葉。あんまり荒っぽい運転しないでもらえるかな。ちょっと車がふらつくだけで圧死しそうになる。
うるせえ。好きででかくなったわけじゃねえんだよ。我慢しろい。
Yeah, putting Seven in the back seat was a little rude.
セブンが運転すればいいじゃないか。
俺は警察官だ。大を犯すわけにはいかねえ。
Damn it, Seven. Don't be a cop, alright?
国際免許持ってないんだってさ。
じゃあせめて助手席に。
却下よ。この席は死んでも譲らないわ。それから四つ葉、アクセルも緩めなくていいからね。あの二人、サンタと紫を乗せた車はこの輪立ちの先を走ってるはず。
車が止められてたところのすぐ脇に若いタイヤ痕があったからな。間違いないだろ。
急がないと二人に追いつけなくなっちゃうわ。だから。
了解。
Oh shit! God damn it, she doesn't have to drive so fast. Man, I didn't even think a car like this could go this fast. We're sure throwing up a lot of dust. It was a couple hours after we'd run into the junior high students. They'd been hiding in the bushes on the back of one of the hills, drenching a kitten in gasoline. What the fuck? Yeah, I would have beat the shit out of them too. The moment we saw what they were doing, Junpei ran up to them furious. Hell yeah, Junpei.
おい何やってるんだやめろ
Then he jumped on them. He quickly scooped up the kitten and tossed it to me. I caught it and ran for the police station as fast as I could.
おまわりさん来てください
Yeah, no. You know, like, you got the shit beat out of you, Junpei, but holy shit. Good on you for saving the cat. Who the hell does that? Horrible people. Shitheads. Oh my god. I hope you got a few good licks in. Policeman and I headed back to the hill. All we found was Junpei sprawled on the ground with a face covered in big swelling lumps.
途中で逃げられなかったんですか
He stuck his tongue out through the hole in his mouth where a tooth had fallen out.
逃げられたよ
じゃあどうして
逃げたくなかったんだ
Yeah!
全員ぶっ飛ばしてやらないと
Exactly, fuck
すまな
them!
かった
子猫のことが許せなかったから
それもあるけど1学期の終業式の件あいつらの仕業だったみたいなんだ
Murders?
それってもしかして
Oh god, the bunnies! I forgot about the bunnies! They were the ones that killed the bunnies! Okay, I hope you got a few good licks in.
例のウサギたちのことだよ
Forgot about the whole bunny thing. He plucked some grass from the ground and tossed it into the
小
wind.
学校の名前聞かれたから答えたんだそしたらあのウサギたちみたいにしてやるよって俺許せなくてさだからそれで
Can someone look into these kids? They clearly need some help. I couldn't forgive him for that, so I...
なあいくつかわからないことがあるんだが
Of course, they probably don't know any more than I do.
まずは一宮が
Are you actually going to explain some of the things I don't understand, or...?
本郷源太郎がノナリプロジェクトを企てた動機についてだ
I mean, don't we know why? Because he wanted to be able to get to the morphogenetic layer, and... I mean, there's plenty of applications that could be used for.
誰か知ってるものは
本人に直接聞けばいいだろうが
Oh yeah, I guess I could.
トランクにいるんだろう
Yeah! Put his ass in the trunk! Yeah, he is. Still tied up, I'm assuming, with his mouth taped shut. His eyes just look empty. No emotion. He looks like he's just given up. I wonder if he even cares what happens to him anymore.
なあ今の話聞いてたか
Yeah, go ahead and try to pretend you weren't, you old bastard. Let's get that tape off your mouth.
聞いてたんだろ答えろ
I hope you ripped it off slowly. You could at least look at me when you talk, man.
私はただ顔が見たかっただけだよ人間の顔が
Don't tell me that is why you did it. What?
形成場にアクセスする能力が手に入ればそれが可能になるそう思ったんだ
God, not being able to see people's faces, it made you embark on this entire journey? Like, yeah, I get it. That's rough, but holy shit. The things you put people through to gain this ability. You don't even know if that would give you the ability.
他人の頭の中を覗き込むことによってその人物がどんな風に人間の顔を認識しているのか知ることができる
ただそれだけのために
簡単に言えばそうだ
Yeah, I'm a little shocked too, Junpei.
もっと哲学的な答えをお望みなら聞かせてやってもいいがねそもそも人間の意識とは何なのかとか
I think that's enough out of you, pal. Yeah. I think that's enough out of you. Time for the tape to go back on.
で2つ目はい
くつ かわからないことがある。そう言ってたのね。
Well, somebody's a little
い
nosy.
や次の質問はお前らには関係のないことなんだ。セブン、お前に聞きたい。
Yes!
アリスの件についてだ。
Yes! Give me something about that.
あれって結局何だったんだ。
何って言われてもな。9年前
9 years ago, after I escaped from the Gigantic,
俺はギガントを脱出してからも本郷の悪事について独自に捜査を進めていた。で、いろいろと調べていく間に自然とギガントの歴史についても詳しくなっていき、その中でボルダイン教のことやアリスのことについて知ったんだ。
答えになってない。俺が知りたいのは常温でも溶けない体を持った少女なんてものが実在するのかどうかだ。
sounds like Hongo has something to say. Alright, fine, I'll let you talk, but you gotta behave.
なんだ。
アリスなんてものは存在しない。今から9年前、私はボトムデッキの書庫の奥でアリスの棺を見つけた。しかし中に収められていたのはただの植物の根だけだったんだ。
Roots of a peculiar plant.
調べてみると、それはナス科の植物マンド
I was
ラ
about to say a
ゴラの足である
mandrake.
ことが分かった。
It's a mandragora. What the hell does that
さ
mean?
らに抽出した成分からはアルカロイドの一種だ。
Is that the medicine your company's known for?
それを
Yeah.
元にして私は麻酔薬マンドレインの開発に成功したのだ。
Okay, so that's where Soparil came from. Soparil came from a plant that was in a coffin that used to be a girl that didn't melt at room temperature. Okay.
その後我が社の業績は目覚ましく発展し、
Shit, this is gonna go on forever. Tape's going back on. The rest of my questions can wait a bit. Now I think I'll just enjoy the ride. So what does that even mean? Alice didn't exist, but this plant that you could extract what you needed to make Soparil from did exist? And was in there? Or Alice turned into that? Or something? Huh. There's got to be more to that, but I can't think of what it would be right now. Honestly. Yeah, here's the gift. So this was before she was taken to the games.
何ですかこれ。
そういう人形の純平くんだ。
Junpei pulled something out of his pocket and shoved out his arm toward me. In his hand was a doll made of yarn small enough to fit in his palm.
そういう人形って。
ああ、店員のお姉さんが言ってたんだ。これはこういう人形ですってさ。
もしかしてブードゥー人形って。
I hope not.
見た目からするとブードゥー人形で間違いないと思いますよ。
Yeah, I've watched Scooby-Doo Escape from Zombie
使
Island.
われるかは知ってますよね。
じゃあこいつを純平くんって呼ぶのはやめた方がいいかもしれないな。
I mean, unless she wanted to torture you from afar.
それよりもどうしたんですかいきなり。
その6月になったら俺たちあんまり会えなくなっちまうだろ。住んでるところの学区違うしさ。それでそのなんていうか。
わかりました。それじゃあこの人形ジューンって呼ぶのはどうですか？
Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting, since that was also the name of the Akane that we were interacting with the entire time. Who, as far as I understand, is like I said, probably wrong, but as far as I understand, is like a a doll manifested in the future of her based off the events that she knows from back then. Like, from where she can see into the future. It would also kind of explain Jun's personality a little bit in some points as well, because she was kind of childlike at times, especially when she, like, blushed around Junpei and stuff. But I'm probably wrong.
わかった。だから、これ、やる。
その言い方、なんだかどこかの部族の棟梁みたい。
そう。俺、棟梁。これ、部族に伝わる伝説のお守り。だから、これ、お前に、やる。俺の代わりだと思え。そうすれ。
Okay, weird. Weird delivery of this idea. But they are kids. So here, take. Yeah, it's very difficult to parse when I should click when it's like this. I reached my hand out and picked up the doll gently.
ありがとう、純平くん。
Before I knew it, I was crying. Tears streamed down my face and fell onto Jun's tiny yarn body.
私、純平くんのこと忘れないから、絶対に忘れないから。
Junpei looked straight into my eyes and said just 5 words.
俺もだ。
The sky was a beautiful crimson red as it melted down towards the horizon. The last golden rays of sunlight stretched out across the city and painted themselves across the hills. We sat bathed in the warm light of evening, just the two of us leaning gently against one another, shoulder to shoulder. The sun set and we still didn't leave. We watched in silence as the darkness deepened and one by one the lights of the town began to flicker on. Still one thing I don't get. To be honest, it's the biggest mystery as far as I'm concerned, and also the only one that's really important. It has to do with Jun and Akane. Thank you! Thank you! 9 years ago, she died in the incinerator on the Gigantic. Yes, this I know. But she's still alive now, as Jun. Uh-huh. But how? Was it because I tapped into the Morphic Field set and saved her 9 years ago? That's what I'm assuming. But, like, how was Jun there before I did that, is my question. Like, her just popping into existence as soon as I changed the past, I'm like, okay, I can believe that based off of other media. But how was she here before I did that? Alright, let's say that makes some kind of insane sense. If I did that, then... how do I make sense of what Seven remembers? Snake makes sense, he's blind. He couldn't have seen her body anyway. But Seven, he said he was sure he saw it. Does that mean there's some kind of historical discrepancy? Or wait, maybe that's not it at all. There's one other logical explanation. Is there? Was what you told me the truth, Seven? You look satisfied. No. No way. He couldn't. But no, was what you told me the truth? You look satisfied? No, wait, what? Huh? Who, what?
Eh?
Huh?
Oh my god. Hi? What is happening? It's Alice. What's happening? I was just about to possibly get my answer on the whole Jun Akane thing, and I'm still not totally sure what it was saying, unless it was insinuating that Seven was lying about seeing the body or something, but I don't know why. Burning gaze of the Nevada sun poured down on her head. The desert around her rippled with heat. Standing there on that shimmering plain was a woman, her arm out and her thumb up. It would not be long before Junpei realized who she was. Coffin. End? End? I'm so confused now. Is that actually the end? Oh my god, that's actually the end. Okay. Would you like to save the info? Yeah, I'm saving the info. Yup, and there's Akane. Save complete. Access the flowchart. Yup, I got all the endings. I did it. I did do it. I did indeed. Oh my god. What a ride. What a wild, wild ride. So, yeah, we just found Alice in the desert. So Alice is super real, but also the Mandragora was in the coffin, and that's what they found, and they were like, Alice isn't real, but then Alice showed up, and is that some sort of morphogenetic frequency thing? And then what is the deal with the June and Akane? I think I need to look some assistance up, I think. Is it just putting me back to the beginning again? I think it might be. It is. Oh. Yeah, shut up, Junpei. Shut up. Flowchart. I mean, I guess it's gonna do this no matter what. I don't think you can even go back to the main menu in this game, can you? Alright, I gotta look some stuff up. Okay. I looked up some things. I want to get to a thing that isn't rumbling. The fourth door, please. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so I looked up some things, and it cleared a few things up. Some things that I probably missed out on just because I wasn't, you know, I wasn't picking up on enough stuff because we are playing it in a little bit of an odd fashion. But one of the things that I saw people generally saying, which this was like one thread. I saw a few things. I looked around a little bit. One thing I saw is that the Alice stuff is followed up on more in the sequel, apparently, VLR. So that's followed up more there. That's like kind of a sequel tease, I guess. So the fact that I wasn't supposed to get much out of the whole Alice thing, it seems like that was not something I was supposed to get much out of. As far as the other stuff, Akane/June seems to be from what I saw, it's like a Schrodinger's cat situation, where she is both alive and dead at the same time, but she's alive when being observed, or specifically, she's alive as long as you're on the timeline path to saving her, but when you divert from the timeline path that saves her, she disappears. And there were points that this happened in, like, the game, apparently, where, like, she would say, I'm feeling hot. That would mean I was diverting from the path, basically. And it makes sense that she was feeling hot because she was going to be burning alive in the incinerator, which, you know, that checks out. I remember mentioning that at some point, saying that, like, I wonder if the point she feeling hot was because she was in the incinerator. That was the case. So that June that was there was in, like, a constant state of being there and also not being there, depending on what decisions I took. So she would just come in and out of reality. And it seems like there's a few moments where that happened where you could pick up on that. I can't remember specific instances, but there were some moments where Akane just kind of, you know, goes away. So I'm guessing it's referring to those particular instances, although other people would probably have better examples of this. But that's my general gist of her, is that, like, yeah, she basically exists and doesn't exist depending on what I'm doing in the timeline. And when she would get sick and hot, that's specifically her being like, okay, I am getting close to dying in the past, so I'm going to go away. I guess the big instance I can think of her disappearing is specifically the ending where I just found her laying on the floor and then she's just gone. Like, she just disappears completely. It's also when Zero says, like, you know, I'm always here with you and stuff. She just disappears. And that's because I just went down the wrong path and she died in the past. So basically the entire game is a big thing that's like, yeah, you're constantly messing with this timeline in an attempt to save her. So that's the Alice thing, and that's the Jun/Akane thing cleared up. It's a little fuzzy, but it definitely makes a lot more sense, and I wasn't totally off base with it, which is nice. The other thing I saw that some people were talking about is who killed everyone in the submarine ending. And the post I saw at least said that it was probably Ace, which makes sense. Because I remember mentioning at the time, I think when it happened, I was like, what if one of them is playing dead? So I think Ace maybe killed everyone and then kills you, possibly. And that's how that goes. So yeah, whole lot of stuff to wrap the noggin around, but I think I got most of it. And as far as thoughts on the game go, I suppose, because I haven't really covered those that much. Like I said, when I first heard that I was going to be playing this, and I had heard things about it for so long, it seemed like such a divisive entry. And most of the stuff that I've seen were the negatives. There were some people that had positives to say about it, but most of the stuff that I had seen was negative. And I can see how people could come to that conclusion and just hate this, because, quite frankly, a lot of people hate these particular kinds of games in general. Like, a lot of people hate Danganronpa, and for example, I'm not like crazy about Danganronpa. I've watched a little bit of Danganronpa, and I'm like, that was fine. But I would say I enjoyed this more than Danganronpa, not only because both of them kind of do a very similar thing, which is they do over-explain some of the stuff sometimes. Like, sometimes I was happy this game was explaining something really, really hard. But then other times, the answer was so obvious, and the characters are talking about it, and it's like, yes, we know. I realize this, but I understand why it has to be there for people that may not get it. But there's a lot of times in the game where it's like over-explaining the solution to a problem or something. And like I said, I feel like that's probably in there because maybe in testing or something they had people confused at various points, so they were like, well, we have to make this very clear. So that's the thing. If I was going to give a negative to the game, I would say, yeah, sometimes it over-explains stuff. And some of that's important for the sake of the story, because like, when we're on the true path, if we don't have those various moments where Junpei comes to the realization of something and explains it to everyone, it makes no sense how those characters know all of those things. You need that moment of him explaining it all to everyone. So that checks out, and that part's fine, but some of the puzzles and stuff, admittedly I struggled on some of those, and sometimes the over-explanation was needed on them. But then other times, like right at the end there, where, you know, it was talking about the thing with like the queue and stuff, it's like, that was a lot of explanation for a pretty simple concept. I understand what they were going for with like them trying to, like, Junpei, they're all freaking out, their minds are all over the place, and Junpei's slowly explaining them to it, and then they have that like aha moment. But yeah, when I hit the realization so much sooner, it you know, it was like, okay, yeah, I get it, I know. But those are like some of my negatives. As far as like the writing and stuff goes, quite frankly, I found the writing in this to be better than my experience with Danganronpa, because Danganronpa, in my opinion, has even worse versions of the over-explaining things and making things way too simple. Whereas this over-explains things sometimes, but sometimes the stuff does get a little bit complicated, so I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But in something like Danganronpa, it's way more simple. I also just love the gameplay flow of this a little bit more. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect coming into this, and Danganronpa was my only other thing to compare it to. But I definitely think I enjoyed it more than Danganronpa. Whereas Danganronpa was like, okay, like it was like fine, but I don't think I've watched past Danganronpa 2. When I was like, that's fine, this is like, okay, this is interesting. I also think this is something better to play than to watch, for me specifically. Like, Danganronpa, I wouldn't want to play it, I would probably just watch it. For this, I think you lose a lot if you're not playing it, because for a lot of the parts that I did really enjoy was the escape rooms being like the main mechanic of this, and I liked that. And they were like of a good difficulty, none were like too confusing or did anything super weird, but the puzzles were still satisfying to solve. Some of them were a little easy, but not anything too crazy, you know? Kind of how escape rooms usually are, you know? They're not crazy hard, they're not crazy easy. So, I do like that gameplay element of this way more than, you know, the stuff Danganronpa has going on. So, that's where it sits there. I would say I definitely enjoy it more than Danganronpa. Obviously, visual novels usually aren't my thing. So this has been interesting to kind of delve into this. I actually played another visual novel on stream, Scarlet Hollow, and I loved that one. It had like a horror focus, and it was mostly decision making and stuff, so it didn't have like, you know, any of these other gameplay things that this has. But I do think I prefer this over Danganronpa, for sure. As far as like, I don't usually give games grades. I better at just giving like vibes, basically, I think, rather than just giving like straight up number scores. I think this for me would be like I had a fun time with the story. I feel like the story is entertaining. It is definitely wild and unhinged, and I can absolutely see why some people would hate it. I can definitely see why some people would hate it, but I thought it was a fun time. I'm not typically one that's super hard to please when it comes to story. Like, I don't write off, like, clearly just awful story, I would say, but as long as something can be entertaining to me, I still think there's value to that. And I think this had some fun moments in it. There were definitely some parts where I was getting confused, but I'm not someone that is going to get as bothered by that if I don't understand something, because quite frankly, when I play a lot of things, I don't understand the story of it. So I'm like, if I get confused, it's kind of like, it's a me problem more than the story's problem, which you could say is something about how I view myself, where I always assume I'm the one in the wrong and not the media that I'm interacting with. But it gives me a more lax approach to how I interact with things and how I like judging their quality based off of that. And I think there's inherent value in a lot of things, and I definitely think this has some good stuff. And I think like the stuff that I've seen across a lot of the stuff that I saw before, where people were like, there was a lot of like, oh, this game is garbage, it's abject trash, and there were some people that were like, no, there's some good bits in it. I agree with that. I think there's some good bits in here. I think there's some wildness, and you definitely have to have certain people interacting with it for them to properly appreciate it. But like I said, it's definitely not a game for everybody. But I think there's some fun stuff here. The writing could be a little weird at times, but I think that was intentional in some places. Like when you're examining everything in the escape rooms, like I was, and like they would say some weird things, and some of the humor is like a little bit dated. But I don't think that harms it at all. And you got to keep in mind like when it came out as well. It didn't do anything crazy awful in that department, I don't believe. It's kind of just like, yeah, this is basically a bit better than I expected based off of what I had seen so much online. I can confidently say I enjoyed it. You know? Like that I can say. And once again, I'm not someone that judges things too harshly and stuff, but I was enjoying sitting down playing this, seeing where things went, and I've definitely had playthroughs where I've sat down and dreaded recording the game. Some games people would say were better games than this, but I did enjoy the time I had with this, for sure. And like piecing all of the things together was interesting. Is it like one of my favorite games of all time? No, because usually visual novels aren't. And I definitely struggle with puzzles, and I feel stupid on them, and I feel stupid trying to dissect story beats and stuff, because I feel like I'm really bad at that, and that's just not my jam. That was one of the things I was worried about this. It's like, am I too stupid for this game? Was my initial thought that I have with a lot of games. But I feel like I was able to enjoy it, and I had an okay time with it, you know? I had a pretty good time with it, so it was good. It was good. I had a good time with it, actually. More than I expected to. It's kind of like for example, if I'm taking like two of the worst reviewed games and things I've heard the most vitriol about from my channel, that being Metroid Other M and this is way better than Other M was. because Other M committed the sins of having a, like, weird, nonsensical story that stepped on the story of the previous games, a horribly written protagonist, and gameplay was, like, fine, but still boring compared to some of the other games, probably because you weren't as invested in finding everything because, like, everything else is bringing the experience down. But this is miles better than the other game I always heard terrible stuff about. And I even still enjoyed Other M a little bit, just as a way, just like experiencing it was interesting, you know? So I definitely have a higher tolerance for these things than most people. I will acquiesce, so. But yeah, that was an interesting experience. We are actually done with Zero Escape. I've got to get this video up. And, yeah, I guess we'll see what won tomorrow. So, hope you enjoyed the playthrough, and I'll see you next time for whatever wins.